People look back on the F1 and say, you know, it was a very clever car because it was the first carbon car, but actually it wasn't really. It was just Formula One technology, purely Formula One technology applied to a road car. So the monocoque and the body on the F1, it was identical to current Formula One cars in the early 90s. Before I did the F1, I drove all the current crop of supercars. Really what I did was try and exorcise the bad things that supercars were well known for. One of those is pedal offsets, and one of the main reasons for doing the central driving position was to get rid of all those horrible offsets that you had in current supercars. But another reason for the central driving position was to make somebody feel very special. This was going to be the world's first sort of $1 million car. We didn't know it at the time, but knew it was going to be expensive. So I wanted the driver to feel special, and sitting in the middle was synonymous with Formula One. Aerodynamics has always been at the front of my mind, and having no rules in road cars, it's actually more exciting, if you like, than racing cars. So we were able to have rear wings that popped up and down. We had active brake cooling ducts that opened and shut when the brakes needed cooling. And of course it was the world's first ground effect road car. I didn't set myself any performance targets. I know people, you know, look at the top speed and say we must have, but actually we didn't. But of course, being a racing car designer, subconsciously you do everything as you would on a racing car. So the car turned out to be very light and very stiff and very efficient. And with the power we had available, it just turned out to be an extremely high performance car which set new standards. The other part of performance of the F1, of course, is the speed. It's got a very small frontal area. If you look at it in terms of today's supercars, it's got a very low drag coefficient. The big unknown, of course, is the F1 has ram intake pressure, just like a Formula One car. It's a top air box, effectively. Very direct. I mean, if you took the air filter out, you can see the inlet valves. That's how direct it is. And we didn't know how much that was going to give us. So when we went to Air Relation and did the final top speed run with Andy Wallace, with the extra ram effect we had from the engine, we ran into the rev limiter. So we had to disconnect the rev limiter to do the 240 miles an hour. It's still, I think, the quickest normally aspirated car on the planet. When I set out to do the F1, I just tried to do the best car I could from an engineering point of view. You have no concept and no idea at all if the car's ever going to turn out to be a classic, collectible, or even iconic motor car. The fact that it has, and now 25 years on, we have the McLaren F1 with the status it has, makes me feel very good, honestly, and makes me feel very proud about what we all achieved.